Welcome. This is I'm your online astrologer, and I'm doing all these forecast readings. So always about the new moon and the full moon, because as astrologers and non-astrologers, we feel very connected to the moon up there because we can see it. So every 2.5 days, the moon leaves one sign, moves into the next. And depending on where that happens in your chart, you feel an emotional impact. There is something you have access to you haven't had access to before. So I also cover a little bit of what else is going on, the big bangs. So I hope you will enjoy my forecasts, and if you haven't done so, you might want to subscribe and make sure you be kept in the loop, and I see you over there. So the next new moon will be in Taurus, very earthy, very grounded. Yes, this video is mainly about the new moon at 16 degrees of Taurus, happening May 6th at 12:29 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so you have to correlate it back to where you are on the planet. So we will be discussing the Taurus archetype and personality, which means that also if you have any planets or ascendant in Taurus, that this material will apply to you a lot. So we will be discussing that, and also other highlights of what else is happening around the new moon. And I will end with 6 very practical suggestions for you how to ride the Taurus wave, how to use that specific energy specifically. If you have been listening to my forecasts before, just scroll a little forward so you don't need to listen to me again here. I just want to introduce myself a little bit to the newcomers and share about my passion about astrology and how you can really use your astrological blueprint as your roadmap for karmic healing and transformation. And I truly believe that your chart is giving you all the information you need to have in order to truly thrive in your life. So, of course, that is easier to find out more about in a personal reading. So if you want to connect with me, go to my website, mauiastrologyreading.com, and find out more about how you can do that. My general forecasts on YouTube I'm doing revolve mainly around the moon astrology, but I also discuss other planetary motions. So it will make more sense for you if you have your own personal chart, your horoscope in front of you when you listen to my forecast. So in case you don't have it, you can go to my website, sign up for my newsletter, and then you will get access to your chart. And I also have a love stone report added to that for you, which is a gemstone, the true birthstone I recommend for the Venus position in your chart. So if you love gemstones, you're gonna love that one. But the main thing is I really want you to have your own personal chart so you can relate back to where it is happening in your personal chart, what I'm discussing. Before I go more in depth into what will be happening with the new moon in Taurus and what that means for you, I want to point out a few other things, what else is going on. So first of all, this new moon is a very special moon because it's the 3rd out of 3 supermoons. So supermoons, we call it when they're so close to the Earth that they're pulling heavily on the Earth's crust, on the tides, and on our own individual electromagnetic field. So they are super strong and impactful. So especially people with the sun or other planets in fixed signs, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, they will be especially impacted with that. Also, this is the time of the year where we have other planets, four planetary bodies in Taurus. So it's not just the new moon, which is always Sun and Moon in conjunction, but also Mercury and Venus. So this gives it a very strong Taurian quality. So we will discuss what that means in depth later. Also, we have Jupiter turning direct. That's happening on May 9th and at 13 degrees of Virgo. So whenever a planet is turning direct, it will free up the energies to move finally forward after revisiting certain projects. So Jupiter, the good luck planet, the planet of expansion and deeper meaning, is moving forward again. So things which in areas we might have felt got stuck have more freedom to move ahead. So in the center of that process is also the realization that our belief systems we attribute to Jupiter and Sagittarius, and the cultural conditionings are the framework we are moving in, and of course potentially hold us back. So now we're having the celestial support to move forward again beyond our comfort zone into new experiences and new dimensions and a new way to look with fresh eyes into the world. And then there is Mercury action. So this is a very rare one. On May 9th, Mercury makes a rare transit over the disk of the sun. So you probably, with telescopes, you can see a little black dot moving over it. But the interesting thing is that this happens only 13 or 14 times in a century. So the last one was 2006, the next one will be 2019. So I would read it the way that the visibility of Mercury in front of the sun is representing our mental capacities, joining very closely with the all-powerful sun, which is representing our sense of self, our self-identity, the way we shine as individuals into the world. So that might bring very special insights into our consciousness and understanding around wealth consciousness and practical applications in life, because Mercury is in Taurus. So that's going to be a good one. And then on May 22nd, Mercury will turn direct in Taurus again, which is always kind of a relief, because a retrograde Mercury always throws some sticks in our way in areas as our social activities, communication in general, travels, computers, electronic devices, cars break down, we miss airplanes, that kind of thing. So we can expect things to go a little more smoothly, especially in practical applications in business areas. So in astrology, we pay a lot of attention in which sign the new moon or the full moon is actually happening, because there is where we get the opportunity to look at or embody a new essence of the zodiac, to connect with what the sign represents. So for the new moon, it's kind of a new cycle of emotional maturation is starting with the new moon. So we really want to know in which sign it is, and then we know how to consciously create from that place. So with four signs in Taurus and the new moon in Taurus, we are invited to connect with the inner animal in us. So let's talk about the Taurus personality and what that means. So as a first sign of Earth, Taurus connects us with our physicality, our physical needs of spiritual souls being in a physical body. And we learn with Taurus to honor the temple of the body as a vehicle for our soul. From an evolutionary perspective, that means if you have planets in Taurus that you're learning about to become deeply in touch with the physical dimensions of life. and you learn to enjoy the simple pleasures of life, which are very much connected with our physicality, with the body who can feel the touch and the taste and the sense of smell. Therefore, Taurus values comfort, sitting with the feet up in a comfortable sofa. So there's also the need for physical pleasures, food, music, things like that. So Taurus is ruled by Venus, so there's an appreciation of beautiful things. Taurus also is very practical, so it has a need for stability and is pretty dogmatic, down to earth. So it's a very earthy, realistically oriented sign. And because Taurus is ruled by Venus, Tauruses are usually pretty good in creating beauty, creating art in a very concrete way. So here we have the sculptors, the gardeners, people who in the three-dimensional world are able to create beauty. Then, of course, like all signs, Taurus has a shadow. So here we have a certain rigidity, maybe an orientation to be too materialistic, too stubborn. But I also think it's an interesting awareness to have that the Taurus shadow also contains that sense of being too lazy, sitting too much on the sofa, so you bore yourself to death. So as a result of that, you might not living up to your potential. So that's definitely a Taurus shadow. And me having my sun in Taurus, I know a little bit about that. So I know I can get too lazy, don't want to exercise, and just want to put my feet up at the end of the day. So anyway, one way of a remedy is emerald as one of the birthstones for Taurus. So have a look at the emerald. I love emerald for Taurus, and just keep in mind that there's several true birthstones for Taurus. So, but emerald is beautiful because it has that very feminine Venusian quality. It's a stone for the queen and the high priestess in us. So emerald helps to connect those worldly and spiritual powers inside of our own self. And it represents the Divine Mother, the Mother Earth. So with emerald, we might find all the inner nourishment, the wisdom, the soothing energies we need in difficult times. And therefore, that grounding quality of emerald can be very empowering. And it's a stone for the heart chakra. So this is where that nourishment and empowerment and balance is mainly happening. If you're really interested in your true birthstones, you can go to my website and check out my gemstone profile report, where I give you a true astrological based true birthstone for each of your planets. So you get a report with listing the true birthstone for the stone for your Venus, which is a love stone, for your Jupiter, for your luck stone, for growing and enhancing and attracting opportunities. So all that kind of things. So you will really like that, I imagine. So when you have planets in Taurus, then that means that whatever those planets represent, that your evolutionary goal of your soul is you want to learn about all those qualities I have described. So you want to learn about grounding, about calming down, smelling the roses, centering yourself. But it also relates to feeling good about who you are, connecting with that sense of self-esteem and self-value, just that quiet dignity. So that's the evolutionary goal for Taurus. So having said all that, with the new moon helping us to start anew with a clean plate, being emotionally more connected with the Taurus needs in our soul. These are things I would recommend for you to play with, to do this month. So first of all, honor the body, the temple of your body. So make sure that you adjust it, get a massage, get a facial, do any kind of body work you feel called to. Just enjoy that sense of being touched and nurtured physically. Then, of course, Taurus, because of the connection with the physical body, invites you to eat healthier than usual. So you might want to take a cooking class or do some new recipes, figuring out something new. And healthier usually means stay away from ready-made food, everything which comes out of a box. So another suggestion I have, if you don't already have one, it's a good month to get a blender so you could make smoothies for yourself. It's a wonderful thing to do in the morning. Just throw some fruits in with a little protein powder or coconut milk, and you have a wonderful way with nuts in it to start the day. Goes fast, very healthy, and tastes good. So that's makes it on the list for me. Then make your own sauerkraut. So we all know that with all the processed food we're eating, the bacteria, the balance of our bacteria in the guts are, for most of us, out of balance. And that has a lot of repercussions for our whole health and how our brain is functioning, how we feel, and all that. So to learn to make your own sauerkraut or cultured vegetables, where you started with good bacteria, Dr. Mercola sells them online. I get mine from him. So you're sure you're starting out with right bacteria. So that's a wonderful way to support your own gut and your own health. Words of caution: the sauerkraut you buy in the health food store is usually not the same because it's pasteurized, so there are no bacteria living in there. So you really need to make sure you get that, so you have to make them on your own. Okay, then challenge for Taurus is usually exercise. So I always tell myself and my Taurus clients, it's as long as you find something you like to do, then you will exercise. So for me, yoga is a good way to exercise, to do my stretches. I take walks, so I'm not a jogger or anything too strenuous. That's not the Taurus way. But walks and yogas has worked for me. Dancing, I like dancing. So just find something in the way of exercise which does work for you. Here on the island on Maui, you could, for example, learn paddleboarding or body surfing in the ocean or go for a swim on a regular basis. Also, the whole idea of being in nature, so that could be you having a garden and you take care for it yourself, put your thumbs in the ground, get dirty. It's a very moderate way to exercise, but it's also proven to be very balancing emotionally and healing. Because every time we are out in nature, we get that kind of balancing brain waves, balancing out into alpha state. So gardening, if you don't have a garden, just go out in nature, go for a walk, be out there. Get a dog, so you have to walk once a day, things like that. So as I see the moon astrology and to become aware of in which sign it is and to commit to some projects, it's just a way to clean up your act in certain areas in your life. So take this new moon in Taurus as an invitation to clean your act around how to be healthy, how to feel good in your body. So that's my invitation for this month. If you are as passionate about astrology as I am, you might be interested to hear that I'm just putting together a teaching program, which is a combination with actual teachings I did here on Maui, but also with personal mentoring with me. So if that is of any interest for you, let me know. So there are many bonuses in connection with that. So I think it's a wonderful training program for people who really want to learn astrology and evolutionary astrology as that. So let me know if that is of interest for you, and I keep you in the loop when it's ready. So if you haven't done so, now's a good time to sign up for your free subscription on YouTube. Please like my video if you do so. It helps with the ranking. And I do suggest you go to my website, get your free horoscope and also the Love Stone report. And then I can keep you informed more directly for things to happen. And yeah, my website, let's go to the next page here, is mauiastrologyreading.com. And as you might know, I have been in evolutionary astrology for 38 years now, so I'm a professional astrologer. So I do readings with people all over the world through Skype, which is like a little visit here in Hawaii, which is fun. So yeah, just call me if you want to have a personal reading with me or if you're interested in my teachings. Make sure you're aware of the time, so I'm in Hawaii time zone, or go over to my website, check me out there, and send me an email and we connect. All right, so thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed, and let me know your thoughts, and I always love to hear back from you. And as we say here on Maui, aloha.